Finally, spring has sprung. We are ready to start planting and ready to get the garden rolling. Welcome to Charlotte's Backyard Garden, where gardening is a family thing. All right, we're going to get started on this bed over here where we're going to be planting our 2 varieties of corn and some okra as well. What I like to do when we're starting this process out, I've already got my beds prepped. The soil, as you can tell, is nice and fluffy, and that's the way you want your soil always, to have a good fluffy mix here, something that you can grab and go through. But if you're not careful, you can get a situation with weeds that are popping in. And to stay ahead of the game, always weed your beds before you start planting. So I like to go in here, and if I see any weeds that are coming up, I like to get in here and uproot them, pull out any unnecessary weeds that just, I feel like, can cause extra work down the road. Because remember, you're going to have a watering system here, and just like you're feeding your fruits and vegetables, you're also going to be feeding weeds with water. So be mindful of that with your weeding process, and pull out any weeds that are coming up in the soil. All right, so we're going to do this all the way down, and you can see how we're turning over that rich black soil that is ready, and it's not hard at all. It's just been sitting for a few weeks here because I prepped my soil a few weeks ago, got it loose, and so all I'm doing is turning it over to get that black gold. And then I'll come in here, as you can see, pull out any weeds that I think can cause a problem. I'm just turning the soil over, and this way you can give your new seedlings a nice fluffy entrance into the ground. Never ever do you want to plant with compacted soil. So you always want to make sure that you get in here and move this soil about. All right, so next we're going to move on to planting some pole beans. Before we start, you want to make sure that you add a little bit of fertilizer to your soil before you start planting. And what I'm adding here, this is actually bone meal and blood meal, which is really good for the plants, new plantlings that are getting a fresh start. So we're just going to work that in really quick, and we're going to start here with our pole beans. Now these pole beans were planted from seed, and all we're going to do is start working out this root system, gingerly working out the root system so that we can separate them out. And this is a little dry, so we're going to make sure it gets watering. You can see that root system there. You want all of that to go in the ground. So we're going to start on the edge right here, because I want my pole beans to start climbing up this trellis. And what it's going to do is start wrapping itself around, and it's going to eventually go all the way over to the next side. And within a couple of months here, we're going to have some fresh pole beans that are going to be ready for some good old cooking. So we're going to keep doing this all the way down this row until we have all of the pole beans lined up. And then we're going to eventually see in the next coming weeks a beautiful arch trellis full of pole beans. All right, so what we're doing now is that I'm separating the sweet corn. I actually sowed several seeds in the same cell, and you can tell there's a lot of root system here, but what we're going to do is separate them out, and we're going to be installing one stalk of corn per hole. And we're gonna keep going down this row with installing corn. As you can see, little kernels are on the end of that, and all you wanna do is find your hole here, drop it in the ground. That's all it takes. It's an easy process. Okay, all right, so now we have some Clemson spineless okra. Everyone loves okra. Don't tell me that you don't. Everyone loves okra. Let's go ahead on and get these okras in the ground. As you can see here, there are at least 4 plants that came in this cell. So what we're gonna do is gently separate them out so that you will be left with actually 4 individual plants. And all we're doing here is just getting them in the ground. We're gonna add a little fertilizer to that after I get them in the ground, taking it here with a little bit of the root base, and we're just gonna put them down in there just like so. Okay, so what we're gonna start with in this bed is our jalapeno peppers. We have here some jalapenos, which are the giant pepper varieties. So these get really, really big. We're gonna get ready and put those in the ground. But before we do so, of course, you know, we always want to do what? We want to fertilize. And I am starting once again with some blood meal and bone meal fertilizer that we're just gonna stir that all in there, and then we're gonna start to plant our peppers. And I usually just break that up just a little bit, get a hole, tuck that right on down in there, and there you go. We're gonna keep going down this row, planting our jalapeno peppers. Break it up a little. Very easy to do. I absolutely love jalapenos. I like a little kick every now and then. I like a little spice, but something I love to make with jalapenos is jalapeno jelly, jalapeno jam. Everyone loves Miss Charlotte's jalapeno jam or jelly. All right, so this bed may look empty, but it's not. Right there, if you can see, these are red mustard greens. I have sown these seeds all over the bed, and they're just now beginning to pop up everywhere in the bed, right here and here. So this is going to be a whole bed, with the exception of the collards, that are dedicated to red mustard greens. My family and friends, we love red mustards, and they are on their way. Well, that was a lot. We got everything planted. I hope you enjoyed everything. Don't forget to like and follow. And if you're not already, start gardening. Happy gardening, everyone.